All right, ladies and gentlemen, I enjoyed watching that. I took most of those pictures, and it was a lot of fun tracking you guys down. At this time, I would like to introduce Assistant Chief Brian Cox and invite him up here to say a few words.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and helping us to recognize our amazing volunteers. My name is Brian Cox. I'm one of the assistant chiefs here at the police department. Chief Duggan expresses his regrets for not being able to be here tonight. He is traveling out of the country for work, but I think we have a special surprise for you.
Well, good evening, everyone, and I apologize for not being with you in person. I am in Poland representing the International Association of Chiefs of Police at a peace summit here in Krakow. But on behalf of the men and women of the Chandler Police Department, I just want to thank you for dedicating your time and your talents, helping us carry out our mission to help keep our city safe. And the fact is that one of the primary reasons why Chandler is such a safe city is because of you and our partnership. So I just want to thank you again, not only for giving your time and energy, but also for your friendship. So congratulations and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Absolutely amazing. So Chief Duggan sent myself and Chief Raymer and Chief DeAnda a text today. He was wearing that same outfit, so he did this today just for you. Again, I appreciate you being here. At this time, I'd like to introduce the command staff that's present. Assistant Chief Dave Raymer. Okay. Commander Travis Spann, back there. Commander Christopher Perez. Our acting commander, Mike Prendergast. A big deal. And I think I saw Lieutenant Nate Eckwood. Did he have to excuse himself? Nate Eckwood is here. And we also have our managers here tonight, Alicia Rosenberg. Oh, there she is. And sitting right next to her, Doug Reed, our records manager. Julie Belt, thank you. Did I miss somebody? I think that's everyone. Oh, Katie Kane. There you, geez, I'm sorry. there you are. All right. For those who don't know me, there's a lot of new faces in the room here. My name, again, Brian Cox. So I'm a third-generation Arizonan here. I actually grew up very close by here in South Tempe. Proud to call Arizona my home, and I'm very proud to call Chandler Police Department my work home. And you are what makes this special. I grew up volunteering in the community, and like many kids, I joined scouting, and my senior year of high school, I earned an Eagle Scout Award and meant a lot to me. And since that time, I've continued to contribute to the community, give back to the community, just like you do. And that's why we're here tonight, is to recognize the awesome work that you do. Many of you don't know this, but I also was a volunteer here. I worked before I was hired by the police department. I was testing with many different police agencies, including Chandler Police Department, and I found that they had an extremely something different, and that was the Volunteer in Policing program, the VIP program. And I joined that, and I worked in the property crime section for quite some time until I was hired as a police officer here. Tonight, we're recognizing you for giving back to our community. And in 2022, it's been a few years since we've been able to meet and recognize you, but in 2022, we had over 30 volunteers in our program who worked 6,700 hours. 6,700 hours, that's incredible. Providing a benefit to the community of $201,000 in services to the police department and to our city. Also helped us clear over $310,000 in warrants. We missed you during COVID. We had a significant gap while you were gone, but we're so excited to have you back. We missed you. From one volunteer to another, I'd simply like to say thank you. And without further ado, it is my pleasure to invite Mayor Kevin Harkey to the podium to recognize you and our city management and staff. Mayor Harkey.
Well, good evening again. When I first became mayor, my very first year, I was able to come to this event as mayor. I'd been here several times, and then I haven't been here my entire first term because of that C word, COVID. And now that I've just been sworn in recently in my second term, I'm glad to be back. Not for me to be back, but I'm glad that we are back, able to recognize and celebrate your achievements. In my opinion, volunteers rock. I work quite a bit in the nonprofit realm, and it has just been a true privilege. I consider it really an expression of our true identity created in the image of God to want to make a community and other lives better. And to me, you all amplify that, and I'm honored to be in your presence. So before I share any other comments, I would like to introduce one of our council members, Angel Encinas, is here. This has been a busy day for council. We started the day at 6:30 at an East Valley Mayor's Prayer Breakfast, and we've been other places before this too with all of council. So I think the rest this evening, just they could not make it. We also have Tad Willie, one of our assistants, our assistant city manager, who's also here with us. Tad looks like he's 20. He's actually a little bit older than that. But it's a privilege to be here with you. It's been, as I've mentioned, I think since 2019. I think 20 we got shut down, 21 and 22, and here we are in 23, able to say thank you corporately and do that in a way rather than just kind of slipping an award at your door and knocking and leaving because all the fears or whatever of COVID. Our Chandler Police Department has encouraged the participation of citizen volunteerism for decades. In fact, this is the 30th anniversary of these awards. Has anyone been here all of that time? I think we've got, yeah? Very cool. When people say to you, you don't know when to quit, consider that a compliment. Thank you, and thank all of you for your service and your love of our community. This has been the most successful volunteer program in our community, if not the state. And over the past 3 decades, our volunteers in policing have truly embraced the concept and turned into real asset, not just for our police department, for our community. Recently, I just posted in my page that Chandler was declared the 9th best city for people to live in the entire nation, top in Arizona. And honestly, I think it's because of it's not because of the mayor, it's not because of the great things that go on at top, it's the unspoken things. How clean our streets are, the friendliness, and how people feel cared for. A couple months ago, I was at the Chandler International Film Festival, and we had people from around the country come to Chandler, and I heard great accolades. What they would say is, your city is clean, your people are friendly, the police are friendly, and I feel safe here. And it's those kind of things that make a community a community. And beyond what we are able to do, it's the volunteers in policing that really accentuate those kind of things that put Chandler in the map. I'm extremely grateful and honored to be in the presence of each and every one of you. So congratulations. Thank you for your commitment and your passing and your passion in continuing to make Chandler the best city there is in the entire world. God bless you all.
Those stairs, I hope I don't trip on them. Thank you, Mayor Hartke, and thank you, Assistant Chief Cox. I really appreciate your words, and you're welcome to this fabulous team that I have the honor of working with every day. Throughout this banquet, we will be recognizing the achievements of our VIP team from 2022. This year, we will also be including levels of achievement reached during the period in which, as Mayor Hardkey stated, we weren't able to get together. So we have a little bit of catching up to do to make sure that we recognize those individuals who participated. While we were locked down, we had essential workers who had to continue working. The dispatchers, the officers in the road, records. I was one of them. And as we were working, we had certain volunteers still participating and working out on the road supporting our officers, and we had certain volunteers working remotely from home to continue supporting this department. So I wanted to make sure that we include them. Some of the levels of awards and recognition were achieved during this period. I do want to also mention quickly that in 2022 we held our very first recruitment in 3 years. Obviously, we were not able to recruit during COVID. So I would at this time like to recognize our newest volunteers and welcome them to our organization so that next year we can include them and further and have more experiences with them under our belt. These two volunteers completed their onboarding in January and March. There are actually 3 that completed their onboarding in January of March of this year. So they're brand spanking new, and we are so glad to have them. Dawn Vukadinovich is a CPAC member. She joined our unit in January and has been assisting our South substation at a critical period where we don't have an admin. So she's been filling in and minding that gap for us on days that she comes in, and we are so grateful to have her helping. Brianna Littleben, I don't believe is here. She was gonna try to make it. Oh, she did make it, there you are. She came all the way from the other side of town, I think, and she's a recent college graduate. She joined our unit just in March, and she's been assisting in our property and evidence division. So I'm so glad to have you, Brianna. We also have Jeff Jones. He also joined in March and recently retired from Chase after 30 years in the fraud department. So he is going to be working with Sergeant Urich and the financial crimes unit. And that's actually in process right now. So that's Jeff, welcome. Now I have a little something that I wanted to do to kind of involve everybody here. VIPs, when I call your name and the number of years you have been a volunteer, please stand and remain standing. We will all give a single clap after each of you stands. Okay, so, all right. Those volunteers here who have been a volunteer for less than a year, please stand. Brianna Littleben, Jeff Jones, Dawn Vukadinovich. I don't believe Natasha Graywall is here. Tanya Tinker is not here, but Judy Mant is here. Okay. Lucinda Crowley, 3 years. Stand. Lucinda, where are you? Stand. Okay, there you are. Paul Jones did not make it, and Dan Desjardins, 4 years. Susie Martin, 5 years. Mary Sandoval, Joyce Vitale, John O'Hare Schattenberg, Ben Schwatkin, 6 years. Carlos Lozano, 7 years. Colleen Sizer and Robert Wyndham are not here, but they are 8 years. Gary Heath, 9 years. Scott McDonald, 10 years. Peg Lantry is not here, 11 years. David Riggle, 12 years. Leslie Oy, Dennis Martinez, 14 years. Richard Abbey, 16 years. Mario Carranza and David Klein, they came through together, 17 years. Ken Hawks, 20 years. Dale, you're not standing. I looked over and you're still sitting. Oh, I did say Mario and Dale came through together in 2017. So yes, or I'm sorry, 17 years, 2005. Okay, y'all threw me off. And our longest serving volunteer Roger Hiles with 21 years. Ladies and gentlemen, these are our volunteers for the Chandler Police Department that are with us in attendance. I think they deserve a round of applause. And you can sit down now that everyone knows who you are. You are very much appreciated, and everything that you do, that I see you do, that the community tells me that you're doing, the officers, I can tell you with all honesty how very much you are appreciated. For 22, I think Assistant Chief Cox alluded to this. In 2022, our volunteers donated over 6,721 hours. And at the national rate of $29.95 per hour, that came to over $201,000 in workforce hours that these volunteers put forth in 2022. At this time, Amanda, I'll need your help for this. I would like to recognize each of the volunteers in 2022. As I call your name, please come up front and receive your certificate of appreciation. Command staff, would you be willing to come up here and help us with this? Commander Perez? Commander Fan? All right, our first award, oh, I'm sorry, I need to stay by the microphone. First, and y'all have to bear with me, I didn't bring my glasses, which is a really big mistake on my part, but okay, we'll get through this, especially since it's a little dim. First award goes to Richard Abbey. Richard Abbey is a motorist assist who also helps with DUI task force and any late night requests. Even though he works full-time, he volunteers almost every Saturday night helping officers who keep the Chandler City streets safe. Richard is always willing to help whenever asked, offers suggestions and recommendations to improve this program. Richard works out of the West substation. Mario Carranza. Mario is a motor assist who consistently serves on Mondays. He is always friendly, wears a smile, and will always volunteer to help on any special projects throughout the year, whether it's as a role player, traffic control for our Chandler PD Christmas party, public safety fair, anything needed, Mario always answers the call. He works out of the South substation. Lucinda Crowley. Lucinda is a volunteer who has also opted to not only serve in one area, but 3. She may be found at the downtown station, in the Family Advocacy Center, welcoming guests or assisting visitors. She also assists the hiring unit with a myriad of tasks, whatever they give her. And then she's been known to volunteer at the South substation with our crime prevention unit. Her willingness to share her time and efforts is always appreciated. Thank you, Lucinda. Dan Desjardins. Dan is one of our motor assists who began his career as a volunteer after he retired from the Chandler Police Department. He usually works on Mondays and works out of the West substation. Thank you, Dan. Brittany Fleck. Did Brittany ever arrive? Oh, she did make it. Brittany began as an intern and moved on to become a volunteer. Early in 2022, she was hired on and is now a crime scene tech in our forensics unit. She is the most recent in a long list of volunteers who moved on to become a full-time Chandler employee. Natasha Graywall is not here. Natasha is one of our newest volunteers, and she volunteers in the forensics unit. She wasn't able to make it because as a college student, she is about to have finals and is studying for that. The next on our list is Ken Hawks. One of our longest tenured motor assists, Ken operates out of our West substation. He has constantly worked on Wednesdays and Thursdays, keeping the streets free of abandoned vehicles, and he's always quick to offer suggestions and guidance. I like when he calls me and says, "Can you bring it to the powers that be and see what they say?" He's a tremendous help he's been a tremendous help as I took on this role. Thank you, Ken. Gary Heath. Throughout Gary's tenure, he has been involved in almost every area of the department. Currently, Gary can be found volunteering at the Property and Evidence Facility on Thursdays, where he may be tasked with anything from property destruction to escorting building and facilities personnel. He was the unofficial historian for the Chandler Police Department for many years and is a wealth of knowledge. Thank you, Gary. Roger Hiles. Roger is a motor assist who operates out of the West Substation. He voluntarily works any task force whenever he's requested, and that includes, more often than not, very, very late hours. He has contributed to the police media team using his drone at funerals, at Special Olympics, and he provides beef footage for their marketing projects. He's our longest serving volunteer, and he splits his volunteer time as a motor assist and as an Arizona Ranger. He is often traveling for work, and he continues to work full time. Thank you, Roger. Paul Jones is not here today. He's a volunteer who assists our quartermaster. Dale Klein. Dale is one of our motor assists who works out of the South Substation. He is always willing to work later and longer if there is a need. He has a true desire to always help and serve others. He even asks me multiple times if there's anything that he can help me with. He's a pleasure to have on the team, and I really value his friendship. Thank you, Dale. Peg Lantry is not here. Carlos Lozano. Carlos splits his time volunteering both for the Chandler PD as a motor assist and for the Arizona Rangers. He often volunteers on other projects, most recently at the Chandler Public Safety Fair. He's got a quick wit and a fun personality. He likes to photobomb, and you might have seen some of those pictures on there. I don't know if that one made it to the reel, but he's pretty good about that. Thank you, Carlos. Judy Mant. Judy recently joined the volunteer unit after having retired from Chandler PD in the Planning and Research Unit. She has been with the PD for over 20 years, and as a volunteer, she can be found at the main station downtown, assisting her former team in the Planning and Research Unit. Thank you, Judy. Susie Martin. Susie is also a former Chandler PD employee. In her current role as a volunteer, she can be found in the Family Advocacy Center at the downtown station, greeting visitors from other agencies or victims of crime. She also assists our range unit with data entry. She enters all of the Armor's cards into the tracking system and enters qualification scores as well. Thank you, Susan. Dennis Martinez. Where's Dennis? Dennis is a motor assist who works out of the South Substation. He currently works full-time and volunteers on Saturdays. And I know I've had to track him down saying, okay, where are you today? I want to get your picture. Where are you? And meet me. And so he did. Thankfully, he obliged. As busy as he can get, he is always committed to work his shift and serve the citizens and officers of Chandler. Thank you, Dennis. Scott McDonald. Scott is one of our motor assists who works out of the South Substation. He is always a pleasure to talk to. He's always cheerful, smiling, relaxed. He's got such a great disposition, and he's willing to take the lead on many projects. He offers suggestions, and he often advocates for this team. I appreciate your leadership, Scott. Thank you. John O'Hare Schattenberg. John is also one of our motor assists, but he works out of the West Substation. In addition to his shifts as an MA, he also works in the Family Advocacy Center. He greets customers and citizens, and he's actually also a retired MCSO, or he retired from MCSO after 20 years. So we appreciate your expertise. Thank you, John. Gosh, I wish I brought my glasses. I'm sorry, you guys. Leslie Oy. Leslie is a motorist assist operating out of the West Substation. Post-COVID, Leslie worked really hard training to return to the road, and we are glad to have her back. She works full-time, so you may find her on an evening or a weekend shift driving around looking for people or situations in which she can offer help. Thank you, Leslie. David Riggle. David is our longest serving volunteer who is not a motorist assist. Currently, he serves in the Family Advocacy Center, greeting visitors and victims of crime. For many years, David has been creating the model car replicas of our police vehicles and using the proceeds as a fundraiser. It's a tedious process which requires patience and lots of skill. Over the years, he has donated the proceeds of the sale of these vehicles to the Benevolence Fund, Team 905, and the Family Advocacy Center. The amount he has donated from the sale of these cars that he has made is over $6,117. He's always willing to serve and share stories. Thank you, David. Mary Sandoval. Mary is currently volunteering in the communications unit. She pulls recordings of 911 calls whenever they are requested and prepares them to be dispersed to the public. This is a tremendous help as her work allows the communications admin to focus on other projects. She has worked in other areas in the past, most notably in records where she helped with public fingerprinting, which we no longer offer, unfortunately. Thank you, Mary. Ben Schwatkin. Ben is also a multifaceted volunteer. He spends nearly an equal amount of time volunteering as a motor assist and also in the Family Advocacy Center. He is always helpful whenever someone is in need and enjoys speaking to visitors and citizens in the FAC or out on the road. Ben will be either at the downtown station or you can find him at the South Substation. Thank you, Ben. Colleen Sizer was not able to make it tonight. She's our warrant compliance volunteer. She's valuable to the team. Tanya Tinker also is a volunteer. She is not able to make it. I really tried to get her, but she's volunteering tonight, so she couldn't make it. She's a rape aggression defense trainer. She works in the evenings with our crime prevention unit. Joyce Vitale was not able to make it, and neither was Robert Wyndham, unfortunately. So thank you. These are the services you provide this year. This keeps falling. Okay, so the next thing I would like to do and go over is what we call an emeritus volunteer. Emeritus volunteer status is granted to volunteers who have retired from the program after completing their years of service to the department. Thomas Gorey was granted this status in 2020, but due to COVID, we were not able to recognize that. Come on up, Thomas. We thank him and recognize him for his years of service to the Chandler Police Department. He is a prior Volunteer of the Year award winner and a Lifetime Award recipient. Throughout his tenure, he was a motorist assist and was often found on the road helping officers and citizens. As an emeritus volunteer, I keep saying that incorrectly, Tommy will be welcomed to participate in volunteer events such as banquets such as this or any other department happenings. Thank you, Tommy. Now, the next group of awards is to recognize hours of service. Volunteers provide hours and years, and sometimes one is way more than the other, and we felt this year that we needed to be able to break up the two so that there are now 4 levels in the hours of service category, and then we have years of service for volunteers, just because there's a different dynamic between the different roles of our volunteers. So this is going to be for the Bronze Awards. This award is presented to those VIPs who reach the 1,000 hour threshold, 1,000 hours of service threshold in the VIP program. When I call your name, please come up and stay here for a group photo. Dennis Martinez, Dan Desjardins, Ben Schwatkin, and Paul Jones is not here tonight. So if you 3 gentlemen will come up. Thank you. They are being presented with a plaque. They are being presented with a plaque that recognizes their service and hours, and a medallion that has 1,000 on it to indicate the 1,000 hours they've received. There are 3 additional hooks for future milestones. Silver Award. This award is presented to those VIPs who reached the 2,000 hours of service threshold in the VIP program. When I call your name, please come up and stay here for a group photo. Carlos Lozano, John O'Hare Schattenberg, and it looks like that's it for who's here today. They already have their plaque, so at this point they're only receiving their medallions. They're being presented with their 2,000 hour medallions. The Gold Award. This award is presented to the VIP who has reached the 4,000 hours of service threshold in this program. Scott McDonald, please come on up. Thank you. He is being presented with a medallion that reflects 4,000 hours on it. Platinum Award. Now this award is presented to the VIP who reached the 6,000 hours of service threshold in the Volunteers in Policing program. Mario Carranza. 6,000 hours. He is being presented with a medallion to hang on his plaque on that 4th hook. It says 6,000 on it. So the next group of awards are based on years of service. Program standards for our program are 16 hours a month. So somebody who volunteers for 10 years and 16 hours a month, we've created this award. It's called the Lifetime Achievement Award. So this award is presented to those VIPs who have provided 10 years of service and maintained that average of 16 hours per month. I do have to say every event has a mix-up or a problem, and this is one of my problems. I did not get one of the awards, but I want to call him up anyway, and I apologize in advance in front of everybody. He should have one, and it will be coming soon. Dennis Martinez. Scott McDonald and Leslie Oy. Peg Lantry also earned this but was not able to make it. So Dennis, I apologize in front of everybody. I didn't get your award. I don't know what happened, but you will get it. They are being presented with a custom acrylic plaque that can stand. Thank you. Longevity Award. This award is presented to those VIPs who have provided 15 years of service and maintained an average of 16 hours per month. We have 3 of them. Richard Abbey, Mario Carranza, and Dale Klein. Their acrylic award states the following: in recognition of your 15 years of dedicated volunteer service and contribution of minimum required hours to the Chandler Police Department's Volunteers in Policing program. Sorry. It's my first time. Now, the last category in terms of years of service is called the Pinnacle Award. This is also a new award for this year. It's presented to those VIPs who have provided 20 years of service and maintained the average of 16 hours per month. Roger Hiles achieved this milestone in September of 2021, and Ken Hawks achieved this milestone in August of 2022. These 2 gentlemen are being presented with a volunteer badge encased in lucite. Come on up. This badge has their Victor number on it, and they are receiving a plaque. Ken, I left yours in my office. That was my other mistake. I was crazy today, but Roger has his because it was in the bag. They are receiving the plaque which describes their years of service to the department. Don't ask me why, but the manufacturer, for some reason, when he made them, made 1 square and 1 rectangle. I don't know why, but Roger, that doesn't mean you're square. It doesn't. So everyone, show everyone the badge. I think that is super cool. I wish they were shaped the same. I don't know why they are not shaped the same, but I just don't, out of my control. Thank you, gentlemen. 20 and 21 years, that's incredible. All right, so the next award that I want to talk about is called a Special Recognition Award. This year, there was, 2022, There was a project that came to its successful completion after months of hard work. It was a project that required collaboration between PDIT, the traffic section, and the two recipients of this award. They answered the call for volunteers to assist as we were trying desperately to meet a deadline, which we pretty much came very close to. Would not have happened without their help. John O'Hare Schattenberg and Scott McDonald are receiving the Special Recognition Award for 2022. I received the following from the lead on this project, which we refer to as ESD, Easy Street Draw. John O'Hare Schattenberg and Scott McDonald willingly volunteered their time to assist with the Easy Street Draw intersection template project. That's a mouthful. They both learned the software and developed best practices in creating an electronic street intersection to be used in conjunction with our electronic motor vehicle accident software. John proceeded to use his knowledge and experience to train other people, officers included, who would also assist with the intersection template project. Officers moving forward will use these pre-drawn intersection templates when an accident diagram is electronically constructed. This template team was able to design all the major city intersections in the city. By having these intersections available for officers to select, it reduces the time necessary for officers to when they create an accident from scratch. They provided they both continue to display positive attitudes with the amount of patience and detail required for each intersection. John and Scott have graciously shared their time and talents with the Chandler Police Department to complete this project, and they are sincerely appreciated. That was from Katie Emerson, PDIT. Thank you. I think y'all all clapped. I was still reading. Now, we have an additional special recognition award recipient, but for this one, I'd like for you to turn your attention to the screen.
I started with the Chandler Police Department in 1973 as a reserve police officer. Following that for 12 years and retiring as a medical retirement in 1985 as a reserve sergeant. During that time, I took a job as dispatcher jailer in the civilian part of the department. When I started as a reserve, there were about 25,000 people in Chandler, 4 square miles, and about as many officers, about 25 total personnel. As the department grew, I became a supervisor over all the civilian functions, radio, jail, police lab, and records. So I worked as a communications supervisor for 16 years, half of that still volunteering as a reserve officer. Transferred to records in 1995, supervised there up until 2010. 2010, I filled a position at the property and evidence section. Loved it down there. Came back to records for my last 3 years, retiring in 2013. Again, going right into being a volunteer. I volunteer back in property and evidence, warrant details, special functions. The great part about this job is the people you meet, the officers, so many outstanding officers, civilian staff, same thing. To this day, I work with some of the greatest people. That atmosphere hasn't changed. I appreciate it. It's like the military. You develop a friendship that most jobs don't give you. The knowledge I've gained, the insight to things, I'm appreciative for that, and probably one big reason why I still stick around. I need to be part of this yet. I'm grateful to have been here, and now I'll go on volunteering where I'm needed and working as the FOP president here in Chandler.
That is so awesome. Thank you, Gary. Please come up and accept your Special Recognition Award for the 50 years you've provided to the Chandler Police Department. We are so grateful for everything you've done over the years. Way to go, Gary. Now, this brings us to our last award, the Volunteer of the Year Award. This award goes to the volunteer who has been recognized for his continued support throughout the department. He is a dependable motorist assist who always reports and serves with a wonderful attitude. Citizens and officers and employees of the department have commented on the services he provides. He is always willing to sign up for any project. Mario Carranza, the winner of the 2022 Volunteer of the Year Award. Mario became a member of the Volunteers and Policing Services team on February 5th, 2005. He reliably serves every Monday, and in addition to his duties as a motorist assist, he volunteers as a role player for FBI negotiator training. He volunteers to work events such as Police Pizza with Police, and he was most recently at the Public Service Safety Fair. You will always find him wearing a smile and sharing a kind word with employees and citizens. The following is a quote I received from Officer Aaron O'Brien. Mario has done it all to help my patrol team, from scooping dead animals to completing tows, blocking traffic, and numerous other daily activities. Mario can always be counted on for assistance. He is pleasant and always smiling. Our police department is lucky to have him. We appreciate Mario and thank him for his daily assistance. He makes our job easier. I also received comments that Mario is great. We love him. I get phone calls saying, that guy Mario helped me on the road. He was wonderful and he helped unlock my car. So truly, it's not just the PD that's sending your accolades. It's from the community. So thank you for always being a sunshine and a smile. So that concludes our awards for the banquet for tonight. I hope you guys had a great time tonight. The food was amazing. Before everybody leaves and I just burst, I have to tell you how important some ladies back there were in helping get this done. They helped me tremendously. Becca and Renee, I was constantly leaning on them to help me print things, labels, tags, so much stuff. It's too much for one person to do, and they were my helpers. They were working out of the West Substation. They had the counter full of things. I had my office completely overtaken. I hope you guys had a great time. I thoroughly enjoy being here with you guys. You are an amazing bunch of people, and I truly cherish every time I get to speak to you. So thank you so much, everybody, and thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate you being here. So thank you. That's a wrap.